2x2 formation. Road change now, we go racing for the first time this season. 3 hours of GT action, it's go.
This is very tight as they come down. Group of cars coming in, this has all got trouble written all over it. This is G3 cars.
Drop downhill, they head towards the Aqua Minerale. Imola, of course. There's another one off through the gravel. As wide as possible as they drop downhill, putting that truck inside line. Yes, oh, he did. Through he goes.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome along to Apex Online Racing's Sprint Cup season. This is season 14. This is tier 2. And this is actually race 4 of the season. If this is the first time joining us, welcome along. Lovely to meet you. And if you're a regular, please say hello in the chat. So we are at a particularly wet-looking Silverstone this evening. And qualifying has just begun. So we'll give you a little bit of a rundown just while the cars are out there. I think it's car number 8 is technically our first car out on track. So we will actually quickly just try and jump on board with car number 8. Who is car number 8? Let's see if we can jump on with them. Oh no, car number 18, sorry. That is Benjamin King is our first driver out the gate this evening. We're already coming across some traffic that's only just leaving the pits, so might be a little bit of a tentative lap this time round. But while we're here, let's have a quick run through what the championship's looking like. So currently, at the moment, with 276 points in the championship is Fabio Zerbin. He was looking very strong in first practice as well. But we'll see if he can make that work here in qualifying. So we get 276 points with a 92-point advantage over Mr. Jones running in second place. And then Kaz Lucas in third place with 179 points. Jonathan Clifford, 175 points. That's running in fourth place. Matt York in fifth place. Nathaniel Shirley in sixth. Benjamin King, who I'm keeping an eye on right now, is in seventh place. Guerin, apologies, is in eighth place. Leighton Austin in ninth and Dorr in 10th. So although the top spot seems pretty much out of reach at the moment, I think it's definitely a case that going as the season continues, we might see a little bit of a change. So we'll stick on board for the moment and get an idea of what Benjamin King can see. In fact, let's see if we can jump right in his cockpit. See if we can get a nice onboard shot. We'll see if the cameras are playing ball with that one. There we go, getting a bit of an idea of what they can see. And this is without any spray as well. He is the only driver not really being affected by spray. Everyone else in qualifying at the moment is going to have a lot of water in front of them. So this is the first flying lap we're going to see. So this will be the sort of benchmark. As we said before, he's inside the top 10 in the overall championship, so he is a fairly swift old driver. This is going to be the first flyer. And what times are we going to put in here? So Benjamin King immediately puts in a 209.850, but the times are rolling in, people improving. At the moment, it is looking like Fabio Zerbin is holding on to his pole position for the moment. So kind of at 88, our current championship leader. Currently with a massive advantage over everyone else. Really surprising to see the Ferrari doing so well. We saw last night in Tier 1, the Ferraris were not that strong here. Oh, there we go. Dorr putting himself up into pole position. Blizzard as well, getting himself up nice and high. Trying to think where we've seen Blizzard in the championship. Whereabouts is he? We'll have a bit of a scroll down through. 22nd place in the championship at the moment for Jacob Blizzard. So hoping to get a better finish this evening. And so he's only actually been able to complete one of the races with us, and he got 8th place. The other two have been DNFs. So obviously hoping for a little bit of redemption here this evening. Zerbin's still on a flyer, and to be fair, is 0.8 up on his lap time. As he's coming through the loop, getting ready for Aintree, going to try and extract as much speed as possible from the Ferrari. Lots and lots of drivers on very, very big improvements. To be fair, Mr. Jones as well on a big improvement. But actually, Fabio Zerbin is nearly a second up on his lap time. We'll stick with him as he comes across the line. Only 2 corners left to go. So Zerbin coming across the line. Oh, there we go. Ayman has just put in a really, really good time as well. And Ranieri. Oh, and Clifford. So big times coming in now. What are we going to see here? Zerbin puts himself on pole position again with a 2:07.227. All the 2s and 7s. Oh, and pulls off with that one. Obviously happy with how that lap went. So we're going to jump on board with the Apex 1 Academy. And this is Bogus. Bogus. About halfway through his lap at the moment. 0.7 up on his lap time. Other drivers putting in big improvements at the moment. Mr. Jones with a big improvement. We have also got Arlavi as well. Massively improving. I think this is the kind of early enough in qualifying at the moment where people's tyres are still coming up to temperature. Improvements all throughout the top 10. We're going to stick with car number 705 for a little bit. Only 3 corners left to go. And there goes one of them. Executed brilliantly, using as much exit curve as possible. So currently running in 12th place. But with a second improvement, should see them climb the order reasonably. Feathering the throttle. Absolutely to the limit here. Takes a good chunk of inside curve as well. And straight into pole position. And he is our first driver inside the 206s. Who else on a big improvement? Jonathan Clifford still out there now, 0.6 up. Only a few corners to go. This should see him take pole position. Flitting between 0.5 and 0.6 of a second up. Massive chunk of inside curve. Brave use of wet curb there. And immediately up into pole position, a 206.6. Mr. Jones just coming through the loop, it looks like. Oh, and abandons the lap. He was up on his time, but obviously decided to abandon that one. And immediately gone back to the pit. So who have we got here? De Brouwer. Just about to come across the line. What are we going to see here? Was running in 25th place. Now up to 14th. Nice improvement for them. So the top 10 drivers have all nearly pulled in. We're going to jump on board with, oh, here we go, Dor, who is currently running in 16th place. We did see him on pole position for a brief moment. The Boatley looking very much at home aboard the 7 Seas that is Silverstone Circuit. Ooh, all the S's in one sentence there. He flings himself through farm curve. Foot nailed to the boards before hitting the brakes at Village. Bit of movement at the top there. Zerbin has been moved all the way down to 5th place. So we now got Jonathan Clifford on pole. Still sticking with Dor for the moment. Throws it in, manages to get the big old bus all the way to the apex. You see him feathering on and off the brakes there, trying to maintain as much speed as possible and not break the traction too much under braking. But now it'll be foot nailed to the boards, all the way to the line. What can we get here? Good chunk of inside curb. And up into 8th place. Nice improvement for them. Oh, here we go. Zerbin. Oh, was on a really good lap, but he looks like he's being held up by traffic maybe ever so slightly. 0.6 up on his lap just a moment ago. And getting a lovely tow from that Ferrari in front, but it's really going to depend on what happens here in this final sector, if he can get through easily. I think that is Kachowski running in front of him. And to be fair, Kachowski has all the right to put in a lap. He doesn't need to give way at all. He can keep going. And Zerbin still on an improvement, and to a certain extent may have gained slightly on the back straight, being able to tow him behind. Although Kachowski had some very weird issues going on there. Zerbin gets himself up into 3rd position. So in that stage, I think a lot of people are on out laps at the moment. We're going to jump on board with Sandro Van Sand. That Thomas Eng Sim Racing McLaren. Clad in that absolutely lovely gold and black livery. One final push for the line. It's a big improvement at the moment. 0.8 up on the lap. Massive inside curb. Almost unsettles the car. There was in 28th. As he crosses the line, what are we going to see? Oh, I think it must have been. It was a fast lap. It was a 207, but it must have been invalidated. Oh, I wonder if that was almost on that final turn. He just took a little bit too much, I think. So here we go. Another driver about halfway through the lap. This is Samuel Brugnara. Well, I reckon that was way beyond track limits there. Have we got anyone inside the top 10 on an improvement? Zerbin, again, improving. Leighton Austin as well, slightly improving. Mr. Jones on an improvement. We're going to jump aboard Mr. Jones. We saw him back out of a lap just a moment or two ago. Still 0.2 up on their lap time. Holding it together. This is where the Aston should have a good amount of grunt. There we go. The McLaren getting out of the way, giving some space to these two. So this is Mr. Jones for Jones' team. It would seem only fitting. So lines himself up for one final sprint to the line. What can they do? If he can't do it this lap, he's only realistically got one lap left, just over a minute and 10 seconds left. Mr. Jones gets himself into 7th. Are we going to see any last-minute big improvements? Van Sand, someone who we were with a moment ago, who actually, we say we invalidated his lap. Oh, I think he might have invalidated it there. Running in 31st place. What are we going to see? If he doesn't do it this time, it's got to be next time. So we'll see if this is an improvement. I don't think it is. I think he took a different line through that turn on purpose to try and get himself the best exit he possibly could. Yeah, there's been no improvement there. But Van Sand is one of those drivers who is really, really pushing. Little bit of movement near the top. Zerban and Bogus as well up on their lap times. Cody Cosford, where are we? We're about halfway through the lap. Is 0.2 up on their time. And Kaz Lucas just behind them on the grid is 0.3 up. So just swinging it through Abbey. Oh, bit of a slide there. That's surely going to cost him some time. It might have been just at the right moment where he manages to control it and hold it together. Suddenly, people at the back of the grid putting in absolutely mega time. Siopis, Tadic, big improvements. Christian Romano, let's jump on board with them. Whereabouts are we looking at? So that's down in 34th place at the moment. Oh, I think the one to look at here is Van Sand. So all towards the end of, well, so 3/4 of the way through the lap, 0.7 up on his lap time. So this could see a huge jump up the grid. As we've just seen a fair few times, though, he's just invalidated the lap towards the end. And fingers crossed he can hold it together this time. Super frustrating when you know you have the pace, but you're just not necessarily able to maintain that clean lap. Oh, and it's a big slide under braking. He manages to hold it together. Oh, and he's gone off. Devastating. He's going to be right near the back of the grid for this one. He had the pace, just wasn't able to quite keep it all together all the way to the end. So back on board with Christian Romano. Was up in his lap time, but I think he may have just slightly outbraked himself there. So we'll see how that does as he comes across the line. I think it's going to pretty... No, into the pits. Decided to bail out of that one. Anyone else on an improvement? Doesn't look like it for the moment. And it is currently a bit of a stalemate with everything. Who else is left out there? Door is still out there, but again has come into the pits. So let's go through the qualifying. So Zerbin puts himself on pole position. Jonathan Clifford running in second place. Ranieri in third. Bogut, oh, do apologise. I need to learn this name. I do apologise. I have not learnt it yet. Bogus? We'll go for Bogus. In fact, let's see if we can get on the... It's a much nicer thing if we can try and get out there to actually see the cars on the grid, although it's being a pain and it will not let me for the moment. Okay, we'll start that again. So, Zerbin on pole, Clifford second place, Ranieri third, Bogus in fourth, Dorr in fifth, Bart Raven in sixth, De Brouwer in seventh, Jacob Blizzard in eighth, ninth is Mr. Jones, and rounding out the top 10 is Leighton Austin. Okay, Kaz Lucas in 11th place, Cody Cosford 12th, Brugnara in 13th, Tony Tudor in 14th place, and 15th place is Kachowski. 16th place, Robert R. Larvey, Lucas Ziege, 17th place, Nathaniel Shirley, 18th place, Matt York down in 19th place. Troy Iman is rounding out the top 20. So 21st place is Tadic, 22nd, Zanabini, 23rd is Benjamin King, 24th, oh, this is a new name as well, Santa Croce, I believe that is pronounced. Siopis in 25th place, Kuhneman 26th, Thomas Moberg 27th, James Cowley 28th, Barrignolo 29th, and rounding out the top 30 is Paulo Lima. So 31st place is Brugnara, 32nd place for Fernandez, 33rd is Florent, Ryan Cooper in 34th, Christian Romano in 35th, 36th is Sandro Van Sand, Simon 37th, Vadoris 38th, and 39th place is Brunier. believe that is everyone there. Yes, it is. So we're just waiting so we can actually finally get out onto the lovely view that we like to see. One of those annoying things where it doesn't always let you get to what you want. It sort of locks you into this screen for a little while. So championship leader sits on pole position for the beginning of the race. So you've got Jonathan Clifford, who is 4th in the championship, running on that front row with him. Ranieri and Bogus as well. And let's have a little look where they are in the championships. Ranieri and Bogus. Let's have a little rummage. See if we can see where they are. I want to say they're quite a long way down if they are in here. They may have not actually scored. Ranieri running in 44th place at the moment. And I believe this is the first time we have seen car number 705. The double check through the old list. There's a big old list of drivers this season. Absolutely massive amounts of them. Yeah, it does appear this is the first time we've had car number 705 out. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Obviously got plenty of pace. But can they put that into a race as well? We've seen it many, many times before. People absolutely astounding in qualification, but then when it comes to the actual race, they just cannot hold it together. It's that difference between outright pace and what we call race craft. I have absolutely neither, hence I'm in the commentary booth, hiding away. But I think our driver is looking to improve this evening as well. Matt York is definitely going to be someone who wants to get a good finish. I say his best finish overall has been a 3rd. Last couple of races have been a little bit disappointing for him. I know he was very, very disappointed in Mazzano, through no fault of his own, really. There's sometimes a bit of a glitch with the old track limits, and he definitely felt as if it was the glitch from track limits that did the damage. I believe that was a track. Yeah, he got a drive-through penalty whilst joining the pits. So as far as he was concerned, he didn't really make a mistake. We did get to actually view the footage, and realistically, I couldn't see anything out the ordinary there. But that's what it's like. The in-game penalty system deemed he was at fault, and that was that. Nothing you can do about it. There is no live stewarding on Tuesday nights, as it's not just Tier 2 racing right now. It is Tiers, well, 2 all the way down to 10. So plenty of people out there racing, and that does mean that we cannot run live stewarding. That is only for Tier 1. So any penalties you see appear in-game this evening during the race will be from, that will be from in-game penalties. So for things like track cuts and things like that, once you build them up. And it is quite easy to do that here. Car number 27 is in the pit. So did they miss their chance to get out? What has gone on there? And that's Iman. Iman in the pit. So why they're starting from the pit, I'm not entirely sure. Oh, and I have just noticed that there is... Oh, no, that is absolutely fine. I do apologise. For a moment, I was about to say that one of our drivers was not allowed to take part in qualifying, and that is why Brenois is right at the back of the pits. That is for accumulating 5 licence points in the championship. You then receive a qualifying ban. Zerbin, wasting no time, is pulling away very, very quickly on this formation lap, trying to get his tyres up to temperature, pushing hard. So I believe it was Paulo Lima who was gained a position out of all of this. Oh, yes, in that lovely Barwell Motorsport Lamborghini. It's a bit of a rummage through the field. Big old circuit is Silverstone. You wouldn't think it, but it is a big old track. In the dry, just inside, sort of, dipping into the sub 2 minutes. But in the wet, they are definitely over 2 minutes a lap. Matt York, great to see Matt York back again, and in the Bentley of all things. Fantastic to see it in that lovely livery. Really great to see a full custom livery on Yorkie's cars. So we've seen him in a couple of different things recently. I think he did the Audi one of the last seasons he was with us. Had a little bit of a break. And then has come back. Also seen him in a couple of the endurance events as well. So the car's beginning to stack up and getting ready. So we will go to Helicam and watch our leaders across the line. Going to be that thing. We will do our best to keep our eye on lap 1 incidents, but obviously jumping back on replay does mean that you are then suddenly 30 seconds behind the action. It can be a game of sort of cat and mouse if you leave it too long. So we will do our best, but we may have to leave a couple of the incidents unviewed. But everyone's stacking up now, getting ready. Some of these cars will still be mid-turn when the lights go green. It's the final run to the line now. A very wet race here at Silverstone. This is round 4, waiting for the green lights. Everyone holding. Come across the line here. Engine lights rise, and it's a green light, and it's a really good start by Clifford. Going to try and go around the outside immediately. Not able to do it, but does maintain a little bit of an overlap and might actually get the run now. Ranieri holds it together. Good move by Dorr as well, pushing up and gained a position already. Maybe had to go for 2. Oh, it's going to be super close, side by side. And there we go. Clifford decides to dip back. Oh, and there's been a big incident behind. We're going to keep an eye on the leaders, though. I think this is where to keep an eye on. This battle pack going on. Ranieri now being able to maybe make a move. Are we going to see anything here? A lot of cars stacked back up there at turn 1. Everybody holds on to their positions for now. And Bogus looking to try and get his position back around the outside of Dorr. Can he do it under brakes? He's really throwing the car in. Looks a little bit unsettled, lose a bit of traction. And no, Dorr goes through. So Dorr taking away 4th position. Letting the timing board sort itself out a little bit. It appears that everybody got going again after that turn 1 incident. It can always be a little bit choppy towards the back of the grid, especially in the wet here at Silverstone. Oh, you can really see some of the cars and the way they're sliding through the turns. But Zerbin already trying to pull away from the pack. Trying to get away. Let's have a jump back and see who is having a real tight one of it. Larvae in the KWADI. That's a lovely looking McLaren there. Oh, a little move going on behind them as Shirley and Ziege battling out. Oh, to be fair, the entire lot, everybody is absolutely stacked on top of each other here in the midfield. We'll jump back a little bit. Christian Romano trying to go around the outside at the loop. He's got to go the long way round. Is he going to get a slightly better line here through Aintree? Massive inside curb taken. Oh, and he gets unsettled. Does manage to hold it together. Fantastic save there from Romano. Really, really well saved. We'll move away from the old commentator's curse. James Cowley, a little bit further back now. That car carrying some damage, as is Ben King's car behind as well. Up the inside of Ben King goes Iman, who we obviously saw started from the pits, so he hasn't been able to do an outlap. I'm sure it was Iman. Oh, who's into the pits already? Cooper into the pits. Now, this could be planned. This could not be. In the wet, it can sometimes really, really benefit you to go for a super early pit, but who knows? So jumping back on board with our top drivers. Zerbin has put in the fastest lap of the race already. Understandable. He's the only one that isn't battling through lots and lots of cars. Oh, kind of a 53 is off. Who was kind of a 53? That was Leighton Austin. Let's try and go back and see what happened there. So this is turn 1. It's got kind of a 164 right on the back, and that's Florent. Oh, no, sorry, that was the final turn. This is turn 1 now. Florent up the inside. No contact there, although that Ferrari does look like it's already carrying maybe a little bit of front-end damage. Oh, just trying to... Got a little bit too much speed there through the turn. Wasn't able to hold on to it. as he was about to go into the back and tried to avoid the back of Florent and instead ended up being spun round and collecting the wall. Be very disappointed with that. Florent now running towards the back of the grid and obviously carrying a significant amount of damage. Zerbin already absolutely flying away from everyone in front. Don't know where on earth he's managed to find all this extra pace, but he is absolutely flying away. Clifford holding onto the back of him, but this is the real one now. Ranieri trying to hold on to third place. He obviously managed to get himself up there, and he really desperately wants to hold on to it. Again, you could see a moment ago when we saw that Ferrari spin round, you can see how slippery it is when you go out onto that green AstroTurf. But apparently not scared. Absolutely going for it, everybody here. Let's jump back on board with Bart Raven. So this is the sort of the British battle. This is the battle for 4th place. Lots and lots of cars still there in the pits. And Nathaniel Shirley as well, having a nice battle here with Ziege. This could be the one. It looks like the Porsche got a decent run there, but we know what the Aston Martin's like in a straight line. It's got monstrous amounts of power. And we saw a Porsche do really, really well here last night. Conrad Ciata piloting that thing. I think it was to 2nd place in the end. Does have a little look to the outside. Oh, car number 93 with the yellow flag. What happened there? Who was car number 93? Let's see if we can spot them. That was Van Sand. They are in the pits. We saw him struggling in qualifying. So this is him rejoining the circuit. Yeah. Comes out mid-lead pack. Bit of a nasty place to try and come out. Oh, and a mistake on his end. Surrounded by very, very fast drivers. Actually, it does end up returning to the pits. Bit of a shame. So let's have a quick look and see if we can jump on board. This is Zanabini. Oh, driver behind them as well. Really, really all over the place. Who is that right behind them? So that is Moberg right behind them. This is ROTW Racing Team. Oh, but Zanabini looks like he's under attack from Moberg. Are we going to see a move here? It's going to have to be a super late dive to the inside. No, decides to hold on to it. It does look like Moberg is carrying some front end damage as well. So that is surely going to start killing off those tyres sooner than later. Although Moberg does seem to have the pace. Even with that front end damage, is really, really taking the fight here to Zanabini. Get an idea of how close they are. We jump onto the helicam as we come down towards the penultimate turn. I say penultimate turn. It's pretty much the penultimate turn. It's nearly the penultimate turn. So people jumping in and out of the pits. Quite a few drivers going for it straight away. So up the front. Let's go for Zerbin. Absolutely flying away at the moment. Still picking in the fastest lap of the race with a 2:07.447. Our only driver to get into the 2:07s thus far. Jonathan Clifford running in 2nd place at the moment as well. A little bit of no man's land here for the 999 car. And then we have Christian Ranieri, who is still being chased after by Dorr. Not able to shake away from that great big thundering Bentley. Sort of looming behind. And you can see the way that gap is coming down as they go along that back straight. Sorry, I should say hangar straight. But this little battle for 3rd place, I think, could continue to heat up. It's really going to depend on who can manage their tyres better. Who is going to go for the early pit? Who's going to go for the late pit? See how it all changes. But just absolutely fantastic to see the Bentley back fighting away in Tier 2. And say some of these old favourites have come back. I think we actually had one of the Nissans. Maybe it was last week or might have been the week before. We had one of the GTRs back as well. And that is all thanks to the custom BOP, so balance of performance. So basically adding or reducing the amount of weight added to the car. And that means that we can get some of these slightly more obscure or older cars back in here again. It's lovely to see. And so far, so good, I think. It hasn't been dominated by any one car. It seems to be a nice mix of sort of different vehicles all across to go for. So a nice little battle going on a little bit further back here. Jonathan Blissard versus Tudor. They were super, super close as they entered the corners. They have opened up just a little bit. Brugnara as well, having a nice little battle. Let's see if we can jump on board with them. Although it was saying it was really close. And yes, there it is. He's got Arlavi right on the back of him. This is one to keep an eye on. That Porsche running was a front end damage. Last thing you want is less grip at the front of one of those Porsches. They need as much as possible. It does look like maybe he's just struggling to get that car turned in quite as early. Although, nicely done there through Maggots and Beckett's. Incredibly wet conditions out here this evening. And you can just see in the back of the shot as well, Shirley trying to catch up with these two. Trying to make it a three-way battle, and I'm sure they'll soon catch up if they keep pushing this way. Right, this is the big one to keep an eye on. Here we go. This is the... Oh, goodness gracious, it's all getting very, very hot. So that was Bogus going after the back of Door. Got slightly unsettled here. All of them absolutely pushing it to the absolute limits. We're going to sort of jump on board in the middle with Door. We can kind of see all 3 or 4 cars all at once. Oh, and there's a mistake. There's a mistake from Ranieri. Manages to hold on to the position, though. Really well recovered. You heard that curb strike. Absolutely massive strike to the underside of the car. And then off they go, pushing absolutely flat out now. Ranieri now doing a bit of a recovery drive. Door's going to try and get the run. That great big Bentley Thunders is going to have the inside if he can hold on to this line. Can they do it under brakes? Possibly. They're going to be side by side. They're super close. The smallest of marches being left. Fair play, though. Ranieri squeezing hard, but not quite cutting the front off the Door. But there really wasn't much room left there. I think if they'd come together, I think Ranieri would have almost been sort of risking being at fault, but not quite. Just about holding it together. And Ranieri just manages to hold on to it. Super, super close. But are we now starting to see maybe the Ferrari struggling slightly in the wet while it has this absolute wash of cars behind them? This is really the one to keep an eye on, this battle for 3rd place. And say Ranieri giving it absolutely everything at the moment. We've seen Door up this high before. We've seen Mr. Jones and Bart Raven pretty near the pointy end a fair few times. But I think this is Ranieri's sort of best performance so far. Let's have a little look and see if we can see where he has finished over the season. I'm sure we did it earlier on, but then my brain has gone completely out the window. Ranieri, yeah, he's only finished once, and that was 32nd place, so he'll be super pleased if he can get himself on the podium. It's a long way to go. Just over 10 minutes of this race have completed. Got a long, long way to go, and there are some big names chomping at the bit behind him. Oh, here we go. Mr. Jones now. Battling with Bart Raven. And someone trying to take advantage here is Kaz Lucas. Gets past one. Can he do something here up the inside? Maybe. Oh, just about holds on to it. And Aston Martin slipping and sliding all over the place in the back of the shot. Car number 33 having to go a little bit defensive there. Kaz Lucas. And saying car number 9 of Mr. Jones is going to be desperate to try and get past. Whilst he was squabbling there with Bart Raven, ended up losing that position. Jumping back on board with Ranieri, who seems to have broken away that little bit, but is pushing really, really hard. You keep seeing him taking huge chunks of inside curb. Not only does that risk, obviously, a track limit warning, but it also super risks over-rotating the car. We've seen it a few times with these Ferraris. And that looked like a really good run by Door there, coming up towards turn 1 now. You can see that the Ferrari can just outbrake the Bentley, though. Oh, does go wide, and the Bentley makes a little bit of a mistake there. Goes a little bit wide. Unsettles the back of the car. say Bogus as well, doing really, really well in his first race with us this season. Absolutely fantastic effort. Currently, obviously, running in 5th place and really holding on to these 2 drivers in front. They have finally managed to break away from the pack behind them just a little bit. Mr. Jones still holding on to 8th place at the moment. So you can see in the shot, this is the back end of the top 10. So what have we got here? So Tadic right on the back of Brenoir. Are we going to see anything under braking here? Going to try and go up the inside. Yes, gets it done. Possibly going a little bit deep. No, holds it together. Obviously, Brenoir, big recovery as well. Already up into 18th place. And Brenoir actually started from the pits. Oh, I think that was Florent. We've just seen a huge crash. What on earth happened then? Massive incident. And I hope that wasn't related to any sort of server issues. Who is that back there? That's that green one there, isn't it? Not sure what number that is, but what happens here? Big slide, hits the curbs, froze over, and I have never seen cars like that before. Absolutely huge incident. I think that was almost the game just not really sure what to do with all of what was going on there. Absolutely massive spin. And just before the 15-minute mark, that was I have not seen a crash that intense ever in ACC. That was absolutely massive. We saw something realistically to that actually a little while ago in sort of real life GT3 racing. I think that was at Monza, where one of the Astons slid into the big sausage curb sideways and ended up exploding into the air. I think it lost a door in the initial impact because the shock was so much to the bottom of the chassis. Obviously not going to see damage models like that here, but that was such a big hit. That was absolutely humongous. I mean, who was that green Ferrari? I really would love to know which one it was. I'll have to look it back on the old replay, I think. Was that car number 164, possibly? So it's car number 10164. Let's have a little look, see if we can spot that. Florent, no, and it wasn't Tadic. It was the Ferrari battling with them. So it was one of the Ferraris. I'm sure someone will be able to tell me which car it was. Currently up at the front, we have still got Zerbin on pole position. Car number 88, he is continuing to dominate Tier 2. We see it every once in a while, a driver that just comes into the tier and really shows their stuff. Oh, there we go, Moberg with the first drive-through penalty we have seen. But yeah, we see it every once in a while, a driver that comes in and dominates. I mean, we're still seeing it in Tier 1. Oh, here we go, lovely battle. I'm going to immediately go quiet and talk about this. Okay, but this is, bit of a squabble going on here, but obviously Moberg does have that drive-through as well. So realistically, Benoit isn't going to want to lose too much time battling here. It would make more sense to just not slow down and keep Moberg going, keep him honest. Oh, deep by Moberg there. Just about manages to hold on to it. Are we going to see Benoit manage to go around the outside? No, we're not. Going to line it up here. How soon is Moberg going to pit? Not yet. So he's sticking out there a little bit longer. So this, I think, actually technically is the back of the grid now after we've lost a few drivers. So 31st place is Santa Croce. We've lost a few drivers towards the back. This is the battle for 29th position. Florent, who has actually already done their pit stop, so we'll gain a few positions here. This is where, at this point in the race, where everything gets a little bit higgledy-piggledy. Half the Half the grid have pitted, half haven't. So even if you are running in pole, it might be a case that you're only doing that because of cars behind you have already pitted. Although, to be fair, our top 10 is pretty solid, and I think that's pretty much going to stay as it is. This nice little Porsche versus Porsche battle going on at the moment. Oh, car number 189 has just pulled off. Car number 189. What happened there? That appears to just be parked up at the side of the road. I don't think they had any real reason to pull to the side. Kind of wondering, that's Robert Arlavi. So why has Arlavi suddenly come to a stop? He is somewhere on my timing board. What happened there? We're going to jump on board with him. Oh, just went off into the wall. Easily done. Lots of front end damage to that car now. Going to be a real stress, that one. Yeah, Arlavi into the pits now. Obviously deciding to fix that damage. Right, let's have a jump on board with Ranieri, who has finally got rid of Door. We missed what happened there with Door. But now Bogus is right on the back of him. Well, it was only a few laps ago we saw that huge incident here at the chicane. Absolutely massive incident. I mean, don't even really know how to describe what happened there, really. It was over rotation, slid sideways, clipped that curb, and that was that, really. And I don't think we even really knew, ACC even really knew what to do with what was happening on screen there. This is a really, really good strong here. Run, goes to the outside. Can he get the car stopped in time? No, goes deep. And now Door back into the battle again. It was a brave effort to try and go around the outside in the braking zone. He had a lot more pace, but I just don't think he was able to outbrake the Ferrari. Tried his best, but it ended up being a case that Ranieri managed to just pull away slightly. So his advantage Ranieri at the moment. Still the Porsche's battle on. Brouwer versus Brugnara. This little squabble going on. And we can actually see Zanabini as well in the back of this shot. Oh, and there we go. Brugnara goes into the pits. So diffuses that one for a little bit. Battle for fourth place rages on. Bogus versus Door. I did see in the chat a minute ago asking who is the fastest Brit in the race. Hard to say, because there's a fair few of them out there. They've put in some really good times. Currently, our most winningest, if you want to put it that way, driver out there at the moment that is British is 5th place in the championship overall, Matt York. But Nathaniel Shirley, a very, very quick driver out there as well, had 2 4th place finishes and a DNF, racing for 123 team name, along with Kaz Lucas. Again, a lot of these drivers are not to be sniffed at, though. Where is Shirley at the moment? All the way down in 22nd place. But again, we're going to see maybe a bit of a change around as things change with pit stops and such. But this little battle seems to have sort of, I don't want to say staled off, but it's certainly just relaxed a little bit. keep an eye on these close battles. Luca Zige. Sorry, Luca Zige. This is versus Shirley. We were literally just talking about just a moment ago, weren't we? As they come down towards the chicane. Again, throwing it in. The Aston does appear to be struggling to hook the tyres up. That rear engine setup of the Porsche seems to be lending a hand. Oh, a couple of cars off there. Car number 13 and 12. Car number 13 and 12. Very different parts of the circuit. Oh, that was our driver that started all the way in the pits, isn't it? So what happened there? We jump back 30 seconds, see if we can spot what happens. We picked number 12 over 13. Sorry, 13. Unlucky this time. So what happens here? Oh, that was a bit unlucky, really. Sort of already committed to the line. Couldn't really do too much. Oh, and an over-rotation while trying to rejoin as well. Does get it rejoined pretty safely, though. It was the Porsche in front that went... I think it was the Porsche went super deep in the braking zone. And then that was the end of that, really. Right, back up the front again. And we just saw Bogus right on the back of Ranieri. But that has now opened up a little bit. There was a little bit of traction loss once again for one of the Astons. You can see here, though, look at the way the Aston Martin has the pace here. Can he do something under braking this time? He looked to the outside before, couldn't do it. Closes right up, clips that apex. That is super close now, right on the back of him. Like a Jack Russell nipping at the postman's ankles. So in this case, it's pretty much a cheetah chasing after the gazelle. Two very, very fast drivers. Ranieri putting on an absolutely fantastic show for everyone at the moment. Nearly halfway through the race and has managed to hold on to third position. It just looks like that sort of mid-corner speed of the Ferrari gives enough of an advantage just to get away and outstretch everyone. There we go, seeing a little bit of a, people saying about the carnage at turn 1. Yes, it was little bit wild, to say the least. Here we go, and we've actually found out which racer it was that had the massive incident in the chicane. That was Leighton Austin. Just let us know. And I would love to see the onboard footage of that. I really hope they saved the replay, because it was just astounding the way the car flipped and went. Oh, little look to the inside here, and there's a big move up the inside. This could be the final change for third place that we've seen. Going to be the outside here, going into the chicane. Can he stick side by side? No, dips back in behind. Ranieri holds on to it for a little bit longer, but now there seems to be a couple of cracks in the armour. Oh, and Dorr picks up a stop-go 30 penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and that is the end of Dorr's sort of battle up near the front. It was looking like a really good pit stop as well, and he's just obviously sped there a little bit, whether that was on entry or exit, not sure. Yeah, seeing quite a few drivers in the Discord a bit upset with the turn 1 antics. I'm sure we'll see some post-race penalties coming along for that one. Oh, and here we go. Lima as well has just picked up a stop-go 30 penalty. 2 stop-go 30 penalties in very quick succession. Are we going to see a dive here under brakes? No, we're not. Again, you could just see the way the Ferrari manages to get on the brakes a little bit later. Takes the advantage. And now you'll see it mid-corner. You can see the way the Ferrari manages to put the power down a little bit sooner. Here we are, already trying to break away. But then eventually, the thundering power of that Aston Martin will slowly start to reel them back in again. I know it may seem like we're keeping a bit of an eye on these two the entire time, but it is actually the best and closest battle on track. And it is a podium battle as well. Zerbin and Clifford, respectively, have absolutely checked out. They are absolutely gone up the road. 8-second advantage for Zerbin at the moment. Absolutely massive. And then a nearly 6-second advantage here for Clifford over Ranieri. All possible move here. Looks to the outside again. We've seen him try this a few times. Can he do anything? Come on, cameras change. There we go. Can he get the switch back? Big dab of the throttle mid-turn. A little bit of contact between the two of them. Saw the way he came off the brakes and got back on the throttle mid-turn. You could literally hear the sound of that Aston Martin firing into life then. Just trying to get up the inside to unsettle the car. Sadly, there was a little bit of contact. Don't think either driver really having any kind of damage to the cars. And no advantage gained, but Bogus really, really is looking like the aggressor here. Christian Ranieri has got a long way to go. Still got half the race to go, and there's another little mistake. We saw it a few laps ago. There was the odd little mistake, but a really good drive by Ranieri. Not going over defensive, just slowing the car in the right place, sort of stopping the momentum of car number 705 of Bogus. He's just managing to play it right. Absolutely stellar drive from him. In fact, let's see if we can get a little look and on the dashboard of Bogus. So looking forward, this is his view. It's been his view for quite a long time now. For nearly half an hour, he's been looking at the back of this car. Neither of them going into the pits. They both go another lap. You can see those tiny inputs on the wheel, trying to keep it as straight as possible and battling the wet. Gets on the brakes into turn one. Again, rolling on the throttle, using a little bit of exit curve, but not too much. Looks to have a slight speed advantage over Ranieri here, but he's coming into the braking zone for Maggots and Beckett's. It's going to be difficult to hold it together. Absolutely nose to tail. This is where we've seen a few times there has been a slight advantage for the Aston. Can he get the power down this time? He's still close enough behind to possibly be in the tow. Not sure he's going to be close enough this time round to try and make a move here at Stowe. Not this time. Zerbin, our leader, into the pits at this point. So, a bit of a change at the front. Hopefully Zerbin can... Oh, Zerbin's actually completed his pit stop and has come out in 7th place. We'll see what the timing board does. That may change. Still on board at the moment with Bogus right on the back now of Ranieri. Absolutely nothing between them. You could not have got a sheet of paper between them then. So down Hamilton, throwing it in again. You can see the way that the Aston just looks a little bit more comfy, although saying that, a bit of snap oversteer there. This might be the chance. He looks to the inside. Big move under brakes. And he does get through, but slightly outbrakes himself. Can he hold the inside here? Oh, a little bit of contact. Another little rub between the two of them. That was a bit of a questionable one. Ranieri sort of trying to close the nose off on Bogus. I think Bogus kind of felt like maybe that was okay. We're going to see if we can just go back quickly. We'll re-look at that all the way from the helicam. So this is on board for Bogus. We'll see him in a moment. He'll go for the move up the inside. Here it is under brakes. He does get the car there, but can't quite get it stopped. So he's on the outside, but they are overlapping at this point. A little bit of a cut. And then, oh, I don't really know how that's going to work out. That was super, super close. That might end up being a bit of a racing incident. I'm not sure that's going to be a case for the stewards afterwards, I would presume. Absolutely madness going on at the moment. So our two leaders have come in. Clifford into the pits. Zerbin has completed his pits. Ranieri now coming into the pits as well. Bogus has stayed out and thus will inherit the lead. So at the moment, it's going to be Clifford, Bart Raven and Blizzard in on the podium. But obviously, they have not completed their pit stops yet. So where is Zerbin? Just about to come through the final turn now. Clifford, car number 999, still stationary in the pits. I don't think we're really going to see much change there. It was a massive 8-second advantage that we saw. Yeah, car number 999 is still stationary. We're not going to see a change for position here. And there we go. That's actually car number 999 has finally been released. So we might have to see what the gap's like after that. But Ranieri will be disappointed with that one. And where is Ranieri in... So it was Clifford, wasn't it, who was running in second place. Ranieri out the pits now, running in sixth. Well, we might have to wait for the time board to sort itself out. There we go, seventh place. So, pitted drivers, it is Zerban, Clifford and Ranieri again. But non-pitted drivers, it is Bogus, Raven and Blizzard. So we saw Bogus obviously racing for Apex 1 Academy. Car number 705, a little bit of contact with, that was Ranieri, who's now down in 9th place. Oh, and a big slide for him there through the penultimate turn. The tyres on that car just finally starting to give up. He pushed. Does seem to be holding a tight line. Is he going to go into the pits? Yes, so this is going to be the one to keep an eye on. Is it Ranieri going to get past Bogus again? Bogus into the pits. So Kaz Lucas, driver we haven't really seen that much of this evening. Or Blizzard and Tudor into the pits as well. For 1-2-3 team name. Kept his nose reasonably clean all night. Currently running in 7th place overall, but should realistically gain 3 positions as the cars in front begin to pit. So Bart Raven is now our leader on the circuit, car number 51. For that cracked racing. Wonderful looking car. Almost Golf-esque looking livery. We're going to see Bart Raven come into the pits this time round. Still putting in 207s. So obviously feeling like the pace is still there. And Bogus. How are we looking here? Bogus is currently running. Oh, and a mistake from Bogus, and round he goes. Just about holds on to it. That was his outlap. And surely that's going to see him drop back. I think he's now sort of in the clutches of... Come on, timing board. Please sort yourself out. It's having a bit of a wobble. So it's saying Bogus is still 4. He's now in 6th. Tries to go around the outside again of Kaz Lucas. Can't do it. Or was that Blizzard? I think that might have been Kaz Lucas. Having a timing board not really giving me the information I really want when I need it. No, that is Kaz Lucas in front of him now. So that must have been Blizzard that he made a way past. And that's Mr. Jones as well, has managed to take advantage of that mistake. So where is Ranieri? So Ranieri is right there. He's not too far behind, but now running in 8th place. After that rotation, I would not be surprised if we do see a... would not be surprised if we do see a penalty afterwards. Oh, car number 14. Just seen a yellow flag out for them. Where is car number 14? Who was that? That was Cody Cosford. That's another one of our Aston Martins. So this is looking like turn 1. Loads and loads of exit curb there. Managing to recover that slide, though. Really well done. Oh, and just coming to a stop. Outside of the circuit. Time to call it a day. So not sure what happened there, but yeah, for whatever reason, obviously deciding that was it. That's enough for me. So car number 40. This is Christian Romano, racing for SOP Esports Racing. Oh, Cosford picks up a drive-through as well. Not what they would have wanted. And they've got car number 65 of Matt Yorkie behind him. Really mixed season so far for Yorkie. He'll be super disappointed with how it's going tonight as well. I'm sure. He was doing so well early in the championship. But it is that thing with the tier system here at AOR. It ensures that you get super, super close racing. And there's sort of like 30 to 40 drivers in each tier. It does mean that you've got sort of 40 drivers that are all going to be realistically sort of within a second of you per lap. So if you do have a mistake or something goes wrong in your lap, it's very, very hard to regain any of that time. Ah, there we go. Bart Raven finally comes into the pits. We just caught him as he was diving in. So Zerbin will reclaim pole position. And it really, really has been an absolute masterclass here this evening from Zerbin. He's really just dominated the entire race. As I say, we see it with Luke Whitehead quite a lot, sort of top of tier 1, very, very strong racer. And we've seen it previously in tier 2 as well. Big drivers have come through. Jumping back on board now with car number 45, Shirley. Trying to make a little bit of a run. He's got De Brouwer right on the back of him, though. That car number 919 chasing after the 45 of Nathaniel Shirley. That Beach Dean AMR Aston Martin. We've seen these two brands battle it out plenty last night, and we've seen it again this evening. The complete difference between these brands as well is absolutely astonishing that they can battle it out so closely on the circuit. Durbin with a 9.5 second lead gap at the moment. Absolutely flying away. Ranieri now in the clutches. Who is this behind him? That's the Aston Martin that we saw just a moment ago. So that is technically out of position, I believe, that Aston Martin. That's definitely not Shirley. He is further back. We just were looking at him a moment ago in that Beach Dean car. So Ranieri, who was in third place, currently running in 8th position. Still a really, really good race regardless. Car number 27 just popped up with a yellow flag. Can we spot who car number 27 was? That was Iman. Some mixed fortunes this evening for Iman. Ah, there we go. So it's Bart Raven trying to catch up with the back of Ranieri. I think Tudor's doing a good job of catching up with these two as well. Across the line again goes car number 88, our leader of Zerbin. Does look a little bit like maybe Ranieri is struggling to get that pace he had in the first half of this race. But still doing really, really well. Oh, there was a yellow flag there again. That was for car number 1. It should be an easy one to see on the timing board, you would think. But where is car number 1? Oh, big shout out in the chat for this evening. I've got to say for Christian Ranieri, loads of love for that driver. Fantastic to see. Thank you very much for blowing up the chat this evening. Oh, what have we missed here? So that is Tadic. Is that Tadic rejoining? Yeah, rejoins just in front of doors. That's car number 1, who we saw have that yellow flag a moment ago. I've gone back 30 seconds, but something else happens here, I think. So where is this on the circuit? Annoyingly, the map disappears every time you go into the replays. So this is Door. Oh, and catches the back of him. Bit of an odd one, that one. That looked like the final turn. So not sure what happened there. It almost looked like Door sort of thought about going to the inside and then realised he wasn't going to make it. Sort of tried to go to the outside. but Tadic maybe was giving him room to the inside, so not entirely sure what happened. But Dorr definitely being the one to come away worst off, all the way down into the mid-20s at this point, 25th place. And earlier on, we were seeing him battling it for 5th place, so at least 20 positions lost over the space of the race. That is not what he would have wanted. Back again with fan favourite Ranieri. Car number 19. That all-black Ferrari. It's got Bart Raven sniffing around the back of him. I'm hoping to collect something from this battle in the background as well as Tudor. It really can be a case of sometimes you battle with someone in front of you for absolutely ages and then finally something happens and it's not you that gets to make the move, it's the person behind you as well. They fly on through and it's 2 places. So Kaz Lucas versus Bogus. This kind of heat up as well. This is for our final spot on the podium. You can see the pace that Bogus has here through Sector 1 is absolutely astounding. We saw it lap after lap when he was chasing after the back of Ranieri. So are we going to be able to see something here at the end of Hangar Straight? The McLaren's no slouch in a straight line either, with 15.5 minutes left of the race as well. It does look like just towards the end of this straight, that's where the Aston really, really comes to life. It suddenly gets an absolutely monstrous amount of top end. But I think it almost catches out sometimes because it's got to brake even earlier. And it catches him out. So at the moment, Kaz Lucas holding on to this position. 15 seconds to go. Sorry, 15 minutes to go. God, 15 seconds. Would have been a little bit quick. I am going to come out and say it now. For whatever reason, I am unable to get Discord to talk to OBS this evening. I don't know why. It worked absolutely fine last night when I jumped in and did some coverage for the Tier 1. It's always worked absolutely fine. I've done everything I can to get them to talk to each other, but I don't know why. For some reason, it will not talk. So we are unable to have post-race interviews this evening, which is a real shame. But yeah, I'm afraid there will be no post-race interviews simply due to the fact that you won't be able to hear them. I'll be able to hear them, but you won't be able to hear anything on the stream. I don't know why and what is going on, but it just will not play the game. It won't do it. There might be a little workaround I can do if we do actually get someone join us for a post-race interview, which we rarely do in Tier 2. For whatever reason, people are a little bit more scared to come and join us in the commentary box, and I don't think I'm scary. I think I'm a reasonably lovable character. Kaz Lucas still just about holding on to the position for now. Bart Raven still unable to catch Ranieri. So trying to keep an eye on battles a little bit further back. Gotta love the way the timing board throws a wobbly every time you pass a pitted car. It suddenly decides that's the gap when it shows the pitted car. Oh, here we go. Kaz Lucas now really, really under attack from Bogus. Can he do anything here? Did have a little look to the inside. Again, that's at the end of the Hangar Straight where that Aston really comes to life. But the exit speed of Kaz Lucas, absolutely astounding. Already opens up that gap, and it's even bigger than it was when they were in the braking zone. And I think the issue is going to be, if Bogus can't get this done, then Jones is going to be able to catch up with the back of him. And then Aston versus Aston, it's going to be a bit of a stalemate. Just under 13 minutes of the race left. Bit of a slide you could see from the Aston. He's queuing up that fast entry here to Village. He's definitely taking a different line, trying to sort of have more speed in different places. Pretty close here. What can he do through Aintree? Can he hold it together? Car seems pretty settled. This is another place where the Aston can start to make some ground. Pushing hard, but not sure he's going to be able to do it. Not quite. Oh, the chat going absolutely wild. So Kaz Lucas still just about holding onto it for now. Have a quick run through the top of the grid just for a moment as well. We'll have a quick look and see how everything is looking there. So Zerbin absolutely dominating, flying away in that car number 88 in pole position. Then we have Clifford as well, absolutely dominating and flying away. Another driver who is just absolutely on fire this evening. Kaz Lucas in third, but definitely not being able to escape this gaggle of cars behind them. All the way back to 9th place, all on the same straight at once. There's nothing between them. That hangar straight is looking very, very busy indeed. A little bit closer this time for Bogus, I think. This looks like the closest he's been in a little while at this part of the circuit. We've seen he's very, very brave on the brakes. It did catch him out against Ranieri that little bit. And again, you just see it starts to unsettle. And again, the chat going wild for Ranieri. We will get him on the screen again, I promise you. Just keeping an eye on this little battle. There was 10 minutes and 30 seconds left of this race to go. This seems to be the closest one. Are we going to see him move under the brakes here? No, we're not. Queuing up this line. And again, Bogus just trying to roll on the throttle, trying to get as much speed as possible. Big chunk of inside curb, loads of exit curb. Does unsettle the car a little bit, but not enough to really lose any speed. Could we possibly see something here towards the end of the straight? I don't think we are. Oh no! I think that was Christian Ranieri going off. He loses a position. He does lose a position. We're going to go back. We'll watch that back. So what happened here? We're on the helicam. He's just in front of Bart Raven at this time. Gets onto Wellington straight absolutely fine and seems to have plenty of pace. If anything, he actually looks like he may be slightly gaining on Blizzard in front of him. But here gets on the brakes. And I just don't think he can get the car turned in. He managed to keep it on the tarmac, but does lose one position to Bart Raven. Oh, he's taking it back. He took it back at some point, and we never even got to see it. When was that overtake done? That was a decent little bit of driving. He's already managed to recover and get the position back. So Ranieri back up into 7th place. And now Bart Raven looking like he might actually be, you know, under attack himself from Tudor. So Ranieri pushing forward. I mean, realistically, if he can keep it together, he should be able to catch up with the back of Blizzard if he can keep pushing the way he is. So Kaz Lucas still squabbling away. Oh, Kaz Lucas is now behind Bogus. We missed that. Can we go back 30 seconds and see what happened? No, we can't. It's already happened. That must have been up at Stowe, I reckon. That move must have been made. And I can't believe we missed that. After watching it for so long, keeping an eye on that battle, trying to see what was happening, Kaz Lucas has now dropped back behind Bogus. So Bogus taking 3rd place on the grid at the moment. Oh, and I think, again, we've just seen it. I think we just saw Ranieri. Pretty sure we saw him off. We're going to go back because everyone loves Ranieri. We'll see if we can get and see what happened here. It looks like maybe that incident's already happened. I want to say we've missed it. We went back 30 seconds and I hoped that would be enough, but I'm not sure it is. But something happened. He was way, way off of where he should have been. And he is now further back. Yeah, so he has lost out to Tudor as well. So sadly, we did miss what happened there. But Ranieri now running in 9th place overall. And he's got Shirley and De Brouwer behind him. And looking like Kaz Lucas is now struggling to hold off Jones as well. Another Aston Martin, obviously, in this latter part of the race, feeling very confident. It again has been just an absolutely sodden race here at Silverstone. It always seems to rain at Silverstone. Amazingly, there's no wind here. And if you've ever been to Silverstone in real life, you will know that that's a complete lie. It's the windiest place on planet Earth. But Kaz Lucas holding on to it for now. And Bogus, now that he's not battling with anyone, seems to be sort of lapping fairly consistently and cleanly. Zerbin still with that fastest lap of the race with a 2:06.9. So our only driver in this half of the race to get into the 2:06s from what I can see. Jonathan Clifford, car number 999. Long old way back from Zerbin. And to be fair, Bogus has got an absolutely monstrous amount of time to make up. I don't think that's going to happen in just under 5.5 minutes. You can only really see the podium staying as it is. So this is Jones versus Kaz Lucas. Little squabble going on. And seeing Bart Raven further back as well, having a little back with Tudor. So here we go, Bentley versus Bentley. Cooper versus Matt York. Matt York managing to get back a few positions up into 18th place. We saw him down in the mid-20s earlier. Dorr down in 24th place as well. We'll try and see if we can get our rear wing shot. Yes, we can. I mean, when was the last time you looked over the rear wing of a Bentley and saw another Bentley? It's certainly been a long old time in ACC since I've seen this. And it seems only fitting that these two running toe-to-toe here in the wet at Silverstone, less than 4 minutes to go. And not a great deal between them. And also Christian Romano as well. You can see him in the back of the shot, fighting his way through the haze. Big move there by Matt York. Huge improvement. Are we going to see something into the braking zone here? Not quite, but he's super close. Oh, no, a little bit of contact. Unsettles Yorkie more than the car in front, though. Cooper manages to hold it together. Yorkie realistically didn't have anywhere to go. I think held the brakes for as long as he possibly could, even after the contact. That unsettled his car. Luckily, Cooper managing to keep it together. So no real harm done. But there we go. Both of the Bentleys getting unsettled there on that part of the circuit. Both of them a little bit on the wobble through Abbey. And now you can really see it in the back of the shot. Christian Romano coming in. Again, Yorkie definitely looking like the aggressor out of these two. He is pushing forward. He did seem to have the pace. We've seen it a couple of times already over the space of the lap where he's got very, very close but hasn't quite been able to get the move done. Looking like Cooper maybe got a slightly better exit through Aintree. Christian Romano, though, on a big, big push as well, catching up with these three. So towards the end of the lap, this little battle is really heating up. About 2.5 minutes left of the race. Has Lucas as well. Now under attack from Jones. That McLaren looking like it's struggling in this final sector. Or sorry, final part of the race. Maybe the tyres just not quite in the right zone. Jones, though, having a little mistake there. Ends up dipping the nose over the curbs. And finally, Kaz Lucas can just about break away. He's got a long way left to go, though. 2 minutes left of the race. Whereas our leader, car number 88, is on the Wellington Straight. So this is probably going to be the penultimate lap that he is on right now. jump back to that one. That nice little battle going on. Romano seems to have dropped back just a little bit. Again, though, here we see the Bentleys. They've thundered away down the hangar straight. And I think it was over the rest of the lap that Christian Romano manages to catch back up with them. Again on the brakes, Yorkie getting the car in. Keeps it stuck to the tarmac this time. Really good run on the exit. Can he put it down the inside? No, I think he tried to get on the power a little bit too soon. And again, now trying to recover the back end of that car, looking very, very unsettled. This is going to be the final lap of the race for car number 88, our pole sitter at the moment. Ah, Lucas Ziege picking up a drive-through penalty. Car number 991. That is going to be for track limits. We're going to keep an eye on this one, though. Could there possibly be a move into the braking zone? Yes, throws it up the inside. Car number 65 goes deep. He's going to be pushed out wide. Couldn't get the car stopped. It's a hell of a car to try and get stopped in that gap, and that has really opened it up now. Christian Romano right on the back of them. Front end of that Ferrari, you can see carrying a little bit of damage. But pushing forward. We've got York versus Cooper. And then again, oh, big bump. He looked to the inside, wasn't able to get there. Cooper was trying to cover it off as well. Bit of a bump. Matt York lets him through, but that's 2 positions gained there for Christian Romano. And I did say I think he was probably sitting on the back of them waiting for these two to trip each other over. And there we go. Immediately. Almost sticking a stick through their own front spokes. If this was on bicycles, they took themselves out. So a fantastic 2 positions gain there for Romano. That's what he would have wanted. Right, let's jump back up to the pointy end of the field. Zerbin coming towards the end of his race. This is the final lap. This is the final time down the hangar straight. We'll get to watch him across the line as he continues his absolute dominance. Absolutely miles ahead of everyone else. It really has been a great, great season for him. I really hope he does continue to race with us next season. Obviously up in Tier 1, as I think he definitely would have the pace for that. So there we go. Zerbin comes across the line. We're going to jump back to Clifford as this battle continues on. And a bit of a squabble going on further back. We're going to jump back to it. Clifford just came across the line. We saw it just as we cut away. But this is Kaz Lucas versus Jones versus Blizzard. And these 3 sticking to where they are as they come across the line. Let's go to Ranieri. Fan favourite Ranieri coming across inside the top 10. Great finish for him. Absolutely fantastic. Few little mistakes throughout the rest of the race, but it was absolutely fantastic. So this is Brugnara versus Zanabini. And through he comes. Where are we looking here? Oh, here we go. Matt York trying to go around the outside in the braking zone. Ends up going a little bit deep. Can't quite get it done. Trying his best. Through that penultimate turn. Just wasn't able to get it done. And the 2 Bentleys come across the line pretty much together. They couldn't have fought much harder if they had tried. Arlavi coming into the back as well. We'll jump on board with Dor after some bad luck in this race with a drive-through penalty. I think it was that stop go 30, wasn't it? We picked up. Not what they would have wanted whatsoever. It's a real shame to see it happen, but it does happen. Right, let's have a little run through the old results. I believe that is everyone across the line. Yes, it is. So let's have a quick run through the results and while we wait and see if anyone is going to try and join us for an interview. So Zerbin comes across the line in pole position. Clifford in 2nd, Bogus 3rd, Kaz Lucas 4th, Mr. Jones 5th, Blizzard 6th, Raven 7th, Tudor 8th, Ranieri in 9th, and Shirley rounding out the top 10. A fantastic effort from all the drivers in the top 10. To be fair, all the way through the grid, there was a little bit of mess there on lap 1. But, you know, it does tend to happen on lap 1 if it is going to happen. Lucas E dropping down to 16th place with that plus 30-second penalty that he carried across the line. But really, really well done. A couple of drivers there, so you can see Iman was our last driver across the line. Well, it was our last car driver across the line. Great effort from everyone involved here this evening. Right. Let's go over to a slightly more nice-looking screen for everyone at home. And we'll turn the music off for just a minute. We don't need the music playing right now. But we are going to see if we might be able to get what we want to see. So hopefully you're going to get someone in for an interview. That would be really nice if we could get someone in for an interview. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but we never know. Let's have a little look. Is anyone feeling it? Yes, Zerbin is in here. Fantastic. Right, hopefully I'm going to be able to get them by turning on desktop audio. If I can't, I'm going to be really disappointed, and it will only be me that will be able to hear anyone. So let's drag Zerbin in. Zerbin, can you hear me? Hello, Zerbin.
Hello.
Hey, fantastic. It is coming through, and it is coming through on the stream. I was a bit worried we weren't going to get it to work, but here we are, and it is working fantastically. Another dominant race from you again this evening. I mean, absolutely fantastic. You are absolutely running away with this championship. I mean, did you think you were going to run away with it quite so easily?
No, at the beginning of the season, I would have never imagined to 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 be this good, but it's good.
Do you feel like your pace has kind of improved since you did the original qualifying? Because for anyone at home that doesn't know, the drivers have to put in there's like 2 set tracks, and you have to put in your times on that. Do you feel like overall your racing has improved since then? Sort of putting in those, especially after the sort of success you've had early season. Are you putting in a few extra hours to make sure you really can hold on to it? Because I mean, at the minute that's this is your 4th podium in a row, so.
Yeah, I think I've improved quite a bit, and yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
But I mean, it's the way you're continuing on is fantastic. I mean, with another 3 races to go after this, realistically now that's another 100 points you've just added to it. So you're now on 376 points. So that is a massive improvement. Realistically, looking like you're probably gonna take home the championship unless something really drastically goes wrong over the next couple of races. We did see this evening that your Ferrari looked pretty decent out there. We saw last night in Tier 1 a lot of the guys struggling with the Ferrari, but how did it feel in the wet at Silverstone?
It felt very good. I think I had a good setup, and I practiced a lot in the rain, and I think I'm pretty good in the rain, so it felt good. Mm, yeah, it's had a lot of grip, so yeah.
Fantastic. I say, yeah, yours seemed to be one of the few cars that wasn't power sliding through every single turn. And I mean, and that obviously became evident. You were 10 seconds ahead, I think, near the end of the race. And you were certainly weren't, you had Jonathan Clifford behind you, who is no slouch himself, currently running in 4th place in the championship before this race. But yeah, it was a great race to see. We did, we cut back and forth to you a fair few times, but it was especially after the pits, that was it. You just checked out and absolutely went for it. So absolutely fantastic to see someone of your caliber here in tier 2. No doubt next season, if you stick with us, you'll probably end up in Tier 1 with pace like that. It's it's been an absolute pleasure to commentate and watch your racing so far. But any final words before we move on? I think it's Jonathan Clifford who's waiting next in the queue for an interview.
Not much to say.
Fair enough. Absolutely fantastic for joining us this evening, and well deserved drink, I think, after that one, mate. Fantastic. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So it should be Jonathan Clifford we can drag in now. Let's see if it is. Am I joined by Jonathan Clifford?
Hello, yes you are.
Fantastic. And yes, everyone can hear you as well. Brilliant stuff. Another great race for you this evening, obviously coming across the line in 2nd place. You seem to be a little bit in no man's land for the second half of the race, though. After those pit stops, you sort of had a massive gap behind you and a fair old gap in front. How did you manage to hold on to your sanity whilst you were racing this evening?
Yeah, very nice to be back on the podium after a couple bad races. And yeah, I got a little lonely after the pits, but there was still a little bit of on-track action I got to see. Helps pass the time. Saw maybe a couple incidents.
Well, I think there was a couple of I think there'll probably be a few incidents put in after after the race this time round. I think you managed to keep your nose fairly clean throughout the race, which is always good to see. But obviously, not being from the British Isles, how did you enjoy your very, very wet time here at Silverstone?
Well, I've always maybe done a little better in the rain than I would do in the dry. The new Lamborghini obviously helps that also. So rain isn't my biggest enemy. I do like a mix though.
No, so there was no wind whatsoever, so I think the rain was here to stay. It was very similar story in Tier 1 last night. Obviously, you mentioned you're racing in the sort of the newest Lamborghini at the moment. Can I ask, what level of traction control are you running? Are you on 0 or are you running a few clicks?
Mostly I'll be running a few clicks. Depending on the track, obviously conditions, it may change a bit, but I'm not one of the mad lads doing 0. Right foot's not that sensitive.
Oh, no, that's absolutely fair enough. I say, yeah, I know a few of the Tier 1 guys are running traction control at 0 in the Lamborghinis, and they do honestly seem to... It looks like rallycross most of the time. They're sliding through the turns. I have no idea on earth how they managed to keep the car going in the right direction. It's fairly impressive. So it makes me feel slightly better about myself to know that some of the Tier 2 guys are still running a little bit of TC. So that's absolutely fantastic. I was just having a quick look at your finishes so far. So round 1, you obviously came across the line in pole position. Then, like you said, you've had an 18th and a 6th place, but then you're back up again with a pole position. I think that's going to see you definitely gain some positions in the championship. Not sure it's going to put you in 2nd, but I think it might pop you up into third place. So that's a nice finish to this part of the season. It was this first half of the season now done. I think we're up to Zolder next week, if I'm not mistaken. What are your thoughts on going to Zolder next week?
Well, pole is going to be important. Qualifying is going to be important. The racing there is single file a lot of times, let's say, without any incidents changing that.
Yeah, it can be a bit of a case of it tends to be a very committed dive up the inside into either of the chicanes that gains positions there, but you've got to be very brave at those chicanes. How are you sort of feeling about the Lamborghini going through such a bumpy course, shall we say?
Better than with the Evo 1.
Fair. Yeah, fair, because the Evo 1 was a fairly untamed beast, wasn't it? It was a little bit, whenever you went near a curb, it got a little bit skittish. So I know I'm glad you feel a bit more comfortable with the Evo 2. Any final words before we call it a night this evening?
No, that's all I've got. So just wanted to say thanks for having me on the box or in the comms.
Thank you very much, mate. Always a pleasure. And say anyone on the podium is always welcome. And to be fair, even outside of the podium, people are welcome as well. It's nice to just have a chat with the Tier 2 guys, get to know everyone a bit better. But right, we are going to end up calling it a night now. Thank you ever so much for joining me, Jonathan. But we'll do the last little run out for everybody else. Right, so that was round 4. Another fantastic race. Next week we are over in... I just said it a moment ago, and now it's completely gone from my brain. Oh, goodness gracious, where are we next week? Come on, brain. Zandvoort, not Zandvoort, the other one. Zolder, that's the one. So we're at Zolder next week. It's another 60-minute sprint race. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, I bet. So from everyone here at AOR, thank you ever so much for joining us, from our main sponsors who are SIMSOK and Driver 61. Thank you ever so much as well. And so we will see you on Monday for Tier 1's race and back here again on Tuesday for Tier 2 race. Thank you very much for joining me. Good night.
It's Noah's Ark 2x2 formation. Road change now. We go racing for the first time this season. 3 hours of GT action. It's go.
That's very tight as they come down. Group of cars coming in. This has all got trouble written all over it. This is G3 cars.
Drop downhill, then head towards the Aqua Minerale. Imola, of course. There's another one off through the gravel. Are as wide as possible as they drop downhill.